see the Word file, blank Word file?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the writing also? Oh, just a minute, just. Just a minute.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, can we get the recording of this of the classes?
That is recording, as I said earlier also, that probably you are not getting it directly.
So we can get it directly if we create a Teams.
Sir, because for the economics, we are not having any of the teams. For every class, you used to send us the link and we used to join it directly.
Yeah, if you create a Teams, you don't need to send link again and again. Like you can directly
Yes, so
join.
you can schedule the classes and we can join it in the consecutive classes.
Word, I am facing problem little bit. Just a minute. Let me try in other way. Sharing those file, I do not have any problem, but you are not getting because might be this link, but creating a team of 500 students or at least 180 students is very difficult for us. And we tried last time, but it was very difficult. Because of that, we started sending only the link. You are talking about that class code.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, because there are three professors in economics and we have three professors. So you three can create your own teams and you can have the
And
code. You can have some code for that and we can join it for the section which you will teach. And after that, we can leave the team.
that is, I will ask you better write to Professor Bimal Sahu. He is coordinating.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, are you downloading the meetings recordings? Means you have the
Yes.
recording?
I'm downloading. Always I am downloading. After that class is
Sir, you
over.
can upload it on Drive and you can share it with us if possible.
Okay, this is okay. This is working anyway. That I tried to use MS Whiteboard, but it didn't work. But anyway, so this writing is working. That's okay. That's fine. So that we'll talk about this one. We'll talk about this one. That Google Drive, or is there any other way of doing it? That is the
So you
case.
can upload it on YouTube channel directly or you can
No,
upload it
I do
on
not want to.
Maybe Dropbox.
I do not want to internationalize my lecture. My intention is at the most what I want to simply share with you that much. But
Then you
again,
can
Then
upload
upload.
it to
Google Drive is
Dropbox
an
and
option.
share the link with us.
That is better. I will try to better write to first Professor Sahu so that he can generate some code and share with all of us. Okay. You better write to Professor Sahu, one or two students.
So, sir,
Okay.
what we will write can you please give us the
Yeah,
recordings?
that's we are facing problem in downloading the files.
Hmm.
Because of that, if you create some course code or subject code, then we will have that access and we will be able to do what you are saying, that with course code you can do it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you
Okay,
write
sir.
to them, he is
We'll
coordinating,
write a
he will
mail.
address it. Okay.
We'll write a mail to him
Hmm.
regarding this query.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So how much did I discuss last class? Can someone tell me? I was discussing ordinal measure, I think, indifference curve, and
Indifference curve.
okay, indifference curve. We were talking about, I think this one. This is the file, I believe. Let me see. I think this is the file we were discussing last class. Is this that file we were discussing last class? Yeah. Then we were talking about just a minute. Actually, this I do not know why it is coming so small. So initially we discussed about, pardon?
So your screen
Sir,
is
are
not
you
visible.
sharing your screen?
I am sharing. Can you see this one now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Now it's visible.
This is the file actually we were discussing, because that helped me. And we discussed two properties. One is negatively sloped, second is convex to the origin. Because of marginal rate of substitution, we found that it is convex. Okay. Now, another property is two indifference curves never intersect. Let's just see it here. Suppose I find it difficult to make it bigger actually. Why it is not happening? Okay, what I am doing is rather I am opening a new file, because in new file I didn't face any problem. Yeah, here it is much bigger, and much clear also it will be. So third property, what I was saying, third property is that your two indifference curve never intersect. Okay. Suppose what I was discussing last class is, suppose these are indifference curve parallel to each other. Okay. This is suppose commodity X. This is suppose commodity Y. Okay. You are consuming. Can you, hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Sir, we
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the diagram also, what I am drawing it now?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
क्योंकि जब बर्ताव बहुत अलग हो जाता है, 2 कैच तो समझ के छोड़े, ये कैच इससे पहले तो बहुत
So you should have a, as I said earlier also, you should have a minimum courtesy of keeping your system mute if you are not talking it. If you have any question, you can ask me, otherwise it should be. But why are you doing it? Your others feel disturbed anyway. So I believe you can see it. So third property, what I am discussing it now or going to discuss now is, suppose I assume there are two indifference curves. They are intersecting each other. Okay. 4 properties are there. First one is negatively sloped. Second one is convex to the origin. Third one is two indifference curve never intersect. Fourth one is higher the indifference curve, higher will be the level of satisfaction. Suppose I am drawing a two indifference curve. Suppose this is IC1 and this is IC2. They are intersecting at point A. Okay. At point A, this one I am going to use it for fourth property. I draw it because of that. I thought that better not to remove it, and I believe that you are seeing the diagram what I am drawing it now. In case you face any problem, immediately just let me know your problem. In case you face any problem with video as well as audio. Now, suppose I assume that two indifference curves are there, they are intersecting each other. Then I want to see what happened then. Suppose at point A, IC1 and IC2. IC1 means indifference curve 1, IC2 means indifference curve 2. They are intersecting. I identify two more points, suppose. Say point B and point C, suppose. Okay. Now, as per if I consider your level of satisfaction or wellness at point say A and at point C, A and C is on IC1, indifference curve 1. So satisfaction level at point A and at point C is same because it is on same indifference curve. And if I consider IC2, A and B is on IC2. So satisfaction level at A and satisfaction level at B is supposed to be same as per definition of indifference curve. Now you remember our assumption of transitivity. As per that assumption of transitivity, if level of satisfaction at A and C is same, level of satisfaction at A and B is same, then level of satisfaction or wellness at B and C is supposed to be same. As per our transitivity, that assumption. So utility at B and C is supposed to be same. Now you see the commodity or the quantity of item X and Y at B and C, compare that one at B and C with respect to X and Y. How much quantity of X and how much quantity of Y you are having at B and C. Suppose this is suppose point M. So when you are at B, you are having suppose Y1 quantity OY, Y1 quantity of Y is there. X is same amount of X you are having. You are having same amount of X at B and C, but level of Y is different. Y1 and Y2, suppose. This is the level of Y. So when you are at C, quantity of Y under your possession is more than when you are at B. So when quantity of Y, X is same, but Y is different at B and C, wherever quantity of Y is more, your satisfaction is supposed to be more, because behind the scene that assumption is still valid, means consumer is yet to attain the level of saturation Consumer is yet to attain the level of saturation, so he or she is looking for more quantity of both X and Y. In both the cases here, quantity of X is same, but at B and C, level of Y is different. So your satisfaction, at C will be much higher than at B. Means it violates our assumption of transitivity. As per our transitivity, when they were intersecting, utility at C, A, and B is supposed to be same, but this is not happening. Here, utility at C is much higher than B. Because of that, two indifference curve cannot intersect. If they intersect, utility is supposed to be same, but this is not happening. Utility is different at B and C. At C, utility is more than at B. So the third property says two indifference curve cannot intersect. You can say cannot intersect. Okay, two indifference curve cannot intersect. This is one, and another is think about force property. This one is I am discussing under force property. Force property says that higher the indifference curve, higher will be the level of utility or satisfaction. So what is happening here? What is happening here? Suppose there are two indifference curves similar to the say previous case. Say it is suppose IC1 and IC2, two indifference curve, and here I am interested to know where my utility is more. Suppose I identify 2 points A and point suppose B. I do not know where utility is more or less. I do not know. I identified simply 2 points on indifference curve 1 and indifference curve 2, A and B. I identified 2 points. Then using the help of this third property, very easily you can solve it here also. Like suppose I draw one more point. Suppose point is here. Suppose this is the point. One more point is there. Suppose a point, and this is suppose identified as C. As per the definition of indifference curve, utility at B and C is supposed to be same because it is on same indifference curve. So level of satisfaction or utility at B and C is same because they are on same indifference curve, IC2. Okay, now compare utility at C and A using that previous concept. Suppose you are drawing a line, okay. Both the cases, now you compare utility at C and A. Both the cases, consumption of X is same. OX1 quantity of X you are consuming, both at A and C. But level of Y is different. Level of Y is different. When you are at C, you are consuming more quantity of Y than when you are at A. So obviously, as a rational consumer who is looking for more quantity of both X and Y, under your position, if say one particular commodity is more, obviously your satisfaction and other commodity is same in both the cases, obviously your satisfaction will be much higher where your possession of Y or consumption of Y is more. So in this case, at C, commodity of Y is more in comparison to A. So obviously utility will be much higher at C in comparison to A. So, but utility at C and B is same. Obviously utility at B will be more than utility at A. Means higher the indifference curve, because B is the next higher indifference curve in my drawing. Higher the indifference curve, higher will be the utility. by default also you will understand this one. This is nothing much. Because what happened, you see, you can find it out also very easily. Say, combination of X and Y may vary, but in case of IC2, sometime both the quantity of X and Y may increase, or you think about C, quantity of Y is increasing, X is same, at same level in comparison to A. So obviously under your position, when some commodity is more and you are yet to attain the level of saturation, so no question of behaving irrationally. So higher the quantity under your position or you are consuming, more will be the satisfaction. Following that principle, your utility will be more. FC generally. So higher the indifference curve, higher will be the level of utility. So these are 4 properties. Now, is it clear?
Sir, I had a doubt in the third
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Sir, the 2 indifference curves are for different individuals, right? Or for different individuals with different purchasing power. So in that case, the utility at point B for individual 2 might be the same as utility at point C for individual 1. So
No,
there
it is, we are, can you mute it? It is only for one individual we are talking about. We are talking about only one individual. First of all.
Sir, then how can the same individual have 2 different indifference curves?
Because you see here, suppose you are having 100 rupee. 100 rupee you are spending after commodity X and commodity Y. Okay. So you may have a particular combination. How I draw it? This is your indifference curve, that there may be a few points where you may be indifferent. Okay. There may be indifferent. There may be a few points where you may be indifferent with this 100 rupee. Combination of X may be zero. This is the definition of indifference curve. Now, question arises about your next indifference curve. Suppose tomorrow your income increase. Income increase means, I'm not talking to make it more simple. I'm talking about, suppose your income increase, or in other way you can say the amount available for purchasing X and Y increase from 100 to 200. You have more money now. Suppose. I'm not talking about your total money. I'm concentrating more on that part activity that you have now. Earlier you were having 100 rupee. You were spending after X and Y. As you have limited money, although you need more money to spend after X and Y, you do not have. You have limited resource. Now, because of some activities, external factors, your income increase accordingly. Now you are in a position to spend 200 rupee after X and Y. What will you do? Will you not go for more quantity of X and Y? Maybe a combination, maybe either X, more quantity of X, or maybe either more quantity of Y, or maybe a few consumer may think about going for more quantity of both X and Y. Maybe a different proportion. It may not be at same proportion. Will you not do it? If you do it, how can you assume that you will have on same indifference curve? Because when you will have more quantity of X and Y under your position, obviously your utility level will be different. Utility level is different means what? Utility level is different means immediately you are moving maybe another indifference curve. It may be above, or if your satisfaction or utility decrease, it may even come below also. That is different issue. But one thing is sure, that you are no more in same indifference curve, because you are in a position to spend more money after X and Y, and because of that you are having more utility. The moment you are having a different utility, you will have a different indifference curve. Now, your question is that how one person can have a 2 indifference curve. That is your question, that I am going to explain. Just wait for. Is it not your question? That I am going to explain how one indifference can. Okay,
Yes, sir, I got it.
just wait, because that is my actually next discussion. So I'm sorry. I'm just removing it because it will create problem. Because now what I am doing is, although I said about your income increase something, I am now concentrating more. I am not exactly permanently leaving this point. Now I am going to move to your budget constraints. Because we are talking about, you see here, we are talking about purchasing X and Y in all the activities. Okay. In all the cases, we are talking about purchasing more quantity of X and Y. So I want to concentrate a little bit about that activities. Now suppose you are having, say, your M is the budget, suppose. M is the budget available for purchasing, say, your X and Y, suppose. X represents level of X, small x, and Y represents level of small y. Okay. That you are purchasing it. Okay. If I multiply X by each, say, X I multiplied by Px and Y by Py, and Px means per unit price of X and per unit price of Y. Market price I am talking about. Then, and if I add it up, then this M I can very easily distribute between X and Y. Remember, M is not exactly the disposable income I am referring. You can think about, or okay, let it be M, just like this one. M may not be your disposable income. M here represents actually the money you are ready to spend after X and Y. There is a minor difference I am talking about. If we talk about, if someone say that M is my disposable income, what is its meaning? Disposable income means after tax income. Disposable income means after tax income. Now, in this case, if you say that M is my disposable income, which by default we express it in that way, then this M is your after tax income, which might be you are utilizing for N different activities. But here, my point of discussion is the money you are spending after X and Y. Suppose your income is, say, 1 lakh, suppose. Out of this 1 lakh, you might be spending 1000 rupee after X and Y. If you are spending, say, 1000 rupee after X and Y, then after tax income is 1 lakh. So by default, if you talk about disposable income, it will mean that 1 lakh rupees after tax income. But in this case, as I said, my concentration is the amount you are spending after X and Y. So I am meaning of M here is only 1000 rupee. That you are, this is the amount you are spending after X and Y. This is the minor difference. So remember, M is the amount you are spending after X and Y. So if per unit price of X is Px, per unit price of Y is Py, then very easily you can express this M or distribute M in this way. Okay. Now, if you simplify it very easily, you can express as X equal to, or level of X or quantity of X is equal to M by Px minus Py by Px into Y, and Y equal to M by Py minus Px by Py into X. This is the two possibilities I'm just drawing. Now, there may be some consumer or few consumer who might be interested to spend entire amount of M. Suppose M is 100 rupee. Some person may be interested to spend entire 100 rupee after X. No Y. Extreme condition I am talking about. Then what will happen? This portion will be 0. This whole portion will be 0. Then X will be represented by M by PX. Suppose per unit price of X is 10 rupee. You are having 100 rupee. So 100 divided by 10 means 10 unit of X you can purchase. So if you draw a diagram, then might be you are getting a point that represents your M by Px. 10, suppose 10 means it will be M by Px, a point. Similarly, there may be some consumer who are interested to spend entire amount for Y, then it will be M by Py. So you will get a point somewhere here. 2x, this is another extreme point, remember. Another extreme point. And in between, most of the cases, what will happen? People are spending this M for purchasing certain quantity of X and certain quantity of Y. Most of the consumer are spending in that way because they need both X and Y. But this is a possibility, I'm just telling it. And if you join these 2 points, you will get a line, something like that. This represents what? This represents distribution, because in between also you are getting point that represents a particular combination of X and Y. So this represents actually your budget constraints. This is actually your budget line. This line, straight line, we are drawing it because we assume a linear relationship. We are getting a straight line, but this is your budget line, you are getting it. Okay. This represents your budget. Budget means M you are spending after X and Y. Any points below this line, suppose here, it is possible for you to reach. In this case, what will happen? It will represent a combination of X and Y you are purchasing by spending maybe X and Y. But what happened in that process? What happens? Suppose M is your 100 rupee. This M is 100 rupee, but you are spending only 70 rupee. This represents something like that, 70 rupee. And any points beyond that line is not possible for you to reach unless your budget or M increase. You cannot, or some other factor change. Okay, because to have this combination of X and Y, you might be required 200 rupee. You do not have 200 rupee right now, you have only 100 rupee. Because of that, this point is not possible for you to reach at this point, at this moment. And because of that, what it says, budget constraints. This line is your, say, your budget line. This is your budget line, or it is also called budget constraint. Budget constraint means although you wish to purchase a higher combination of X and Y or more utility or more satisfaction, but because of limitedness of your budget, you cannot move on. Okay, you cannot reach any point beyond that one, and any points on this particular line represents that this 100 rupees fully utilized. This 100 rupees fully utilized means your budget is fully utilized for purchasing of X and Y, for purchasing that one. But different points represents different combination of X and Y. Is it okay? Now, what I am doing is, I am say drawing that line. This is a budget line, and I'm drawing different indifference curve parallel to each other. Parallel to each other. So and so. My diagram is not very good, but you have to be very, very careful. Suppose I draw only 3 indifference curves, suppose. In between also there are a number of indifference curves. You can draw it parallel to each other, maintaining that property. This is maybe IC4, so and so. Okay. Sorry. Now, question is, obviously, as a rational consumer, always you may be interested to utilize your budget fully, because AM or that 100 rupee is meant for spending after X and Y. So you are interested to spend that amount. For X and Y. Your objective is not to save money, because you are looking for more quantity of X and Y. So obviously, as a rational consumer, you will always try to spend fully. So your point will be somewhere. Suppose AB is your budget line. So you will try always to spend. Now question will see there are 3 points. Suppose this is 1 point M. This is 1 point, suppose N, and this is suppose P, MN and P. All the 3 points is on budget line, same budget line. Okay. Now, if we compare MN P with N, then the difference is all the cases budget is fully utilized for purchasing X and Y. But remember, MN P is on IC1, whereas N is on IC2, and as per the properties of indifference curve, when you are at N, your satisfaction is much higher than when you are at MN P. When you are at N, your utility is much higher than at MN P. So obviously, as a rational consumer, you will try to have, or you will try to purchase that combination of X and Y, which will give you maximum utility, maximum satisfaction. So obviously, your choice of or combination of X and Y will be at point N, not at point M or P. You will try to purchase this particular combination of X and Y only under this given budget, so that your utility is maximum. Okay. Now, if this is the case, indirectly what I am explaining to you is consumer's equilibrium, or you can write here consumer equilibrium. What is consumer's equilibrium or consumer equilibrium? A consumer will be said to be in his or her equilibrium position when he or she maximizes his or her utility under a given budget constraints. What I mean to say indirectly, here your activity is purchasing of X and Y. Here your activity or objective is purchasing of X and Y, but that purchase is in such a way, because your resources are limited, so that purchase, you will look for that particular purchasing activity or that particular combination of X and Y which will maximize your utility under a given budget constraints, because your budget here is limited for purchasing X and Y. Say, if I say it is 100. If 100 rupees is there for purchasing X and Y, each and every individual will try to find it out, that particular combination of X and Y, that particular combination of which X and Y, which will give or generate maximum utility for that individual under a given condition. So what you say that how can a first portion was that if it is a two different individual, but this is basically I am talking in the context of only one individual, one consumer, because I cannot generalize it. In general, you may find this kind of pattern like budget line, indifference gap, but individual to individual altogether this combination may be different because your requirement is different. But what I am assuming that, yeah.
Sir, like if there is a consumer, will he prefer M or N? Like which point will he prefer?
Which you will prefer? If I ask you this question, M, N, and P, 3 points.
Sir, like I would obviously prefer M because I am under the budget and getting high level of satisfaction.
So that is the case. Is it not that everyone will not look for that one? For you, you are looking for N. Okay. Do you feel that other consumer will look for M or P instead of N? Any rational consumer will go for only N, not for any other point.
Okay, sir.
And that is the point of consumer's equilibrium. Means when under that given condition, that particular point, in this case N is maximizing his or her utility. Because of that, this point is called, or we say that consumer will be in his or her equilibrium position when he or she maximizes his or her utility under a given budget constraints. So you are maximizing under this given condition constraints, you are maximizing your utility at N. Okay, N maybe N, do not confuse with M and N. By mistake, I use a similar terminology. Okay, like sometime when you are speaking about N, okay, I am changing that one maybe. Instead of writing N, I can write, suppose, what to write? Suppose, say point, suppose Z, suppose Z. So at point Z, this point Z represents here, this point. At point Z, you are maximizing your utility. So Z is the point of consumer's equilibrium. Or instead, or not even Z, better to write this one. Suppose better to write E instead of going for all this. Some of you will be in a position to relate it. Okay, E for equilibrium, suppose. But this is not the case, remember. So at point E, your utility under that given budget constraints will be more. So the issue here is that each and every consumer will try to reach that particular level only. Now your question may be like commodity for another person, X and Y may be altogether different commodity. And as I said earlier also, in reality, X and Y is not the only commodity. In your consumption basket, there might be N different item. So accordingly, it will be multidimensional in nature. So ultimately, think about in other way. Ultimately, in your all consumption activity, under a particular point in time, under a given budget constraints, you will try to make a balance of all the commodities which is reachable for you, which you can manage to purchase at this moment. You will choose in such a way that you will generate maximum utility, and that by default the consumer is doing it in fraction of second. Okay, a rational consumer. Now for this consumer's equilibrium, obviously, you need to fulfill two conditions. First condition is that MRS must be equal to Px by Py or price ratio. Okay, first condition, necessary condition is that MRS must be equal to Px by Py or Py by Px also. You can go ahead in that way also. This is the first condition. There are two conditions which may fulfill consumer's equilibrium. A consumer will be in his or her equilibrium position when you fulfill two conditions. First condition is that MRS is equal to Px by Py, and second condition is that first condition must be fulfilled that highest possible indifference curve. First condition must be fulfilled. Second is just a minute. First condition, one is fulfilling at highest indifference curve. At highest indifference curve, something like that. Okay. One is fulfilling at highest indifference curve. Now the meaning is what? Let's see. What is MRS? In that previous file it was there, I think. MRS is what? Marginal rate of substitution. Yeah. So how we express it? I express it MRS equal to del y by del x, or in reverse way, if you think about, it will be del x by del y. It depends upon in which direction you are considering. Okay. Indirectly, what was that del y by del x? Del y by del x, you remember, del y by del x is nothing but slope of your indifference curve. Is it not? MRS is nothing but a representation of slope of your indifference curve. And what is Px by Py? Px by Py or Py by Px or Px by Py, as I say. This is what? This is slope of your budget line. Is it not? Slope is negative, yes. Negative sign is coming. Py by Px or Py by Px represents your slope. So the slope of your indifference curve must be equal to slope of your budget line. And second one is, first condition must be fulfilled at highest possible indifference curve. Indirectly, second point is telling what? Second point is telling that point of tangency only you will get consumer's equilibrium. What that someone was asking me, which one you will choose? Point of tangency only will give you maximum satisfaction. So, in one sentence, if someone asks you, tell that consumer's equilibrium, then in one sentence, you need to answer is that point of tangency between indifference curve and budget line will be consumer's equilibrium. Okay? And remember, if I ask you, suppose, if I ask you a question that write the two conditions of consumer's equilibrium, you are supposed to write in this way two conditions. If you simply write that point of tangency will be the consumer's equilibrium, I will give you a big zero. Be careful about this one, because in my portion, whatever is asked, you are supposed to write only that much. I am not asking you what is or where is consumer's equilibrium or what is consumer's equilibrium. Suppose, provided I am asking you the question like, write the two conditions of consumer's equilibrium. You are supposed to write that MRS equal to Px by Py, or someone may write also in sentence form also that slope of budget line must be equal to slope of indifference curve. And second condition is that first condition must be fulfilled at highest possible indifference curve. Both the condition is we are ultimately summarizing as point of tangency. Okay, is it clear? If you have any question, you can ask me. Otherwise, I am going for next portion. Next is, suppose, think about a situation. Okay. Now, if you have any question, you can ask me quickly. Time is almost, I'm having maybe around 5 minutes time. Okay. This is very difficult actually to draw. I find it very difficult. Because in my department, I am having another writer. So I find that is much better actually, bigger as well as better. I'm just doing it is a very small and very slippery anyway. Now, I'm giving you different. I'm continuing, but in similar direction. Suppose, now onwards, remember, do not confuse. Now onwards, I will concentrate mostly on this kind of point only, consumer's equilibrium only. And for doing that one, most of the cases I will draw only that budget line as well as maybe only one indifference curve, assuming that by default other indifference curves are there, they are parallel to each other. Because my focus of discussion will be only consumer's equilibrium. You got the idea? From whole discussion, maybe 2-3 lecture, ultimately we find out only one point which a consumer is ultimately choosing in his given budget constraints, and in a situation of budget constraints, only one, that consumer is choosing only one point that give him or her maximum utility under a given budget constraints or limited resource situation. Only that much we discuss it till now. Although there are maybe many more points, but ultimately from whole discussion, you are going to choose only one point that will give you ultimately consumer's equilibrium. And by default, a consumer will try to always try to choose that particular point. Now the issue here is, suppose this is your AB is your budget line, suppose. And this budget line will cut many indifference curves, but to a particular indifference curve, it will be tangent, where you will get your equilibrium position. Okay. Where you will get your equilibrium position. Now, okay. Suppose tomorrow I assumed a situation like all other things are at certain level. In economics, by default, we assume such kind of situation that all other things are at certain level. What happened? Only your income increase. Income change. It may increase, it may decrease also. What will happen? All other things are at certain level. Means what I mean to say here, per unit price of X and Y, PX, PY is not changing. Consumer's taste and preference is not changing. Consumer is yet to attain the level of saturation as usual. Means he or she is looking for more quantity of X and Y, provided he or she is getting that opportunity. So all other things are at certain level, no change. Only this is the existing situation. Suppose this is your, say, M, the existing situation, M. Now, consumers' income increase. What will happen?
Line will shift parallelly, like
That line will shift.
Pardon?
slope will remain same, but the intercept will.
Oh, your voice is not coming clear. Maybe loud, little bit.
The budget
Yeah.
line will shift parallelly. The slope will remain same, but
I was keeping my actually video off because I keep my window open. Because of that, you are not anyway getting my picture clear. But if whiteboard and other things you are observing without any problem. Anyway, so what you are saying, that budget line will shift. Okay. Now my next question, if it is the case, my next question is, in which way budget line will shift? Will that shift will be parallel? Will that shift will be more towards commodity X, or more towards commodity Y? In which way? Quickly.
Parallel.
Okay, I got it. So now, what I'm telling it, what you are saying it, and I'm using a different color. So I am drawing a parallel budget line parallel to AB. Suppose I named it as A dash B dash, suppose. Okay, and this will be also parallel to, this will be also tangent to some indifference curve. Okay, some indifference curve at point, suppose N, suppose this is IC2, suppose in between also there may be, but I am ignoring it. I am drawing only IC2. Okay, this is a parallel. Then again, suppose further your income increase. Again, there will be, I can assume easily that there will be some parallel movement of budget line, and again there will be some IC3, so and so. So each and every case it will cut many indifference curve. All these it is cutting, but to a particular indifference curve it will be tangent M and suppose P and so and so. But if you join all these indifference, these are equilibrium position. Remember, these are equilibrium point at different level of your income. Because at different level of your income, suppose this represents your M1, this represents your M2, this represents your M3. This budget line, corresponding value, budget line. You are getting it. So if you join this one, ultimately you will get a diagram is not very good, but anyway, it will work, I believe. You will get a line. This curve is called ICC curve. ICC curve means income consumption curve. This curve is called income consumption curve. Okay, I'm leaving you. I think it is time is over. So this tomorrow I will explain, because again I am going to take your class this week also. After that I will move on to other section. So as much as possible that coverage should be here. So this is called your income consumption curve. Tomorrow I will explain. Tomorrow, if not if possible, tomorrow anyway I am going to finish this discussion of indifference curve. Then on Thursday I am going to start your demand and supply, and which will be gradually. It will be. I believe it will be more interesting, as well as some simple numerical problem will also appear. Let's see. Okay. So tomorrow I will finish all this discussion of this whatever is going on.
Sir, can you stop the recording?
Yeah, I'm stopping it. I'm
Okay.
just give me a minute. Just a minute, if possible. This is your 11. Let me just save it. I'm just downloading.